Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dread Time Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Phobia, and tonight, dear patients, our story comes from the world of Reddit No Sleep. So sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's tale. So I thought I ate a spider in my sleep. I remember that half-wake moment of confusion very vividly. I groaned, blinked, and moved my mouth around as I stared up at the dark ceiling. There was some sort of weird hair or something on my lip. Pulling at it, I felt a subtle, slippery tug in my throat, and it took another 3 seconds to slide the whole thread out. Disgusted and confused, I held it up to the silver moonlight coming in through the window. What the hell is this thing? Some sort of unknown girl's hair? No, it was wispier than that. More reflective and a little stickier. I suddenly felt queasy as a thought occurred to me that was probably silken spider thread. Had I just eaten a spider in my sleep? I got up that night, refusing to go back to sleep. But the day's light dispelled my silly fears. If I had eaten a spider, it was long dead by now, thanks to my stomach acid generously donated by my night-long anxiety. A few weeks passed and I almost forgot about the incident. I noticed very slowly I began having trouble exercising at my usual rate. My sleep was getting worse, and groggy even when I did sleep. I thought it may have just been the season or allergies, and I tried to ignore it, until I fell asleep at work, and my boss sternly told me to go to the doctor. I was never one for the doctor, but I was tired of being tired, so I finally manned up and went. I sat in the stark white office waiting for some time. I figured the doctor wouldn't have any questions for me. They never seemed to care enough to pursue individual mysteries, but I was hoping for a prescription or something. I sat still as the nurse did all the usual tests: blood pressure, pulse, and so on. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. She left, and I waited some more. Finally, the doctor walked in and greeted me without looking. She asked about my symptoms, nodded a bit, and then used a stethoscope to listen to my chest. That's when she frowned. It might be allergies, or even asthma. Sounds a bit scratchy in there. That's what I thought, I told her. I've been racking my brain. Hell, for a while I even thought it was a spider I ate. She glanced up at me, making eye contact for the first time. You ate a spider? In my sleep, I think. She hesitated. There is a new spider infestation. African, I think. We've had a couple bad reactions to bites. Total long shot here, but if you did get bit in your esophagus or stomach, you wouldn't feel it, but you'd still have a reaction. Let's get a soft tissue scan done. Confused and worried, but hopeful, I followed her advice and went to the next building in the complex for the scan. An hour queue allowed me to fill out every form and exhaust every magazine in the small waiting room before they finally called me up. I followed the attendant warily to the imaging room. I'd seen it on TV, sure, but the experience was far more intense than it looked. I had to lie still for quite some time, to itch, sneeze, or cough while I waited. But by the time it was over, I felt a built-up coughing fit coming on. The smiling attendant came in and told me I did a great job and started checking things. All right, I sighed. It was over. Time to get up and get out of here. Another attendant peeked into the door. The doctor stood behind him. They both motioned for their colleague, and I found myself momentarily alone. I sat up watching them confer in hushed tones just outside. The three then approached me. We're going to need you to come with us real quick. It's not an emergency. We just need to speak to you in private. Feeling hot from my approaching coughing fit, I followed them into a small room, where they directed me to sit and handed me a biohazard waste bin. Now, son, I want you to close your eyes and cough into this trash can, the doctor told me, his tone quavering. And whatever you do, keep your eyes closed. It's important you don't look at for, Radiological reasons. From the imaging machine. Yeah, the machine, an attendant echoed, gulping. Their masked fear had my pulse racing, but I was more than ready to start coughing to ease the pain in my throat. Leaning over the waistband, I began a heavy, hacking cough. I let out endless choking breaths that seemed filled with weird dust and particulates. Had I accidentally breathed in something radioactive from the machine? I kept coughing. I tasted blood. I paused. I breathed in and then out. They urged me to keep coughing, their voices shaking and subtly disgusted. Come on, son, just a little more, the doctor told me. His practiced hands trembled on my shoulder. The last cough seemed to spasm my entire body. I felt clotted particulates rise up my throat and finally escape. Spitting and pushing more air out through my mouth, I got the last of it out of me. Feeling much better, I made the mistake of relaxing, and I opened my eyes. The doctor saw me staring down and gripped my shoulders tight. Don't panic. You're safe now. It's just that we saw a note about the spider you ate, and we did look in your stomach, but your stomach was fine. It was, well, they're attracted to moving air, you see, and it made webs and laid eggs, thousands of eggs, in your lungs. In shock, I nodded, unable to do anything, but stared at a 3-inch thick pile of baby spiders rolling around in the bottom of the waste bin. That was So I Thought I Ate a Spider in My Sleep. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Like I always say in closing, check under your bed, look in your closet, and sleep with the light on. The life you save may very well be your own. Good night, everyone.